We'll have to redo that whole thing. Slow down, fix the sign.
Yeah.
That's the summary. All right, thanks. Richard?
Tonight it's just about the roads. I think Chad's doing a very good job. Between plowing, keeping up with anything. I mean, look at other towns, they're doing their best to push banks back and, get the sand out there on the warm days, get all the crap off the roads, and you just don't see nothing. Today, we see them go by, because I guarantee somebody complained, but, come on, the amount of money that kid's getting paid.
I got a question for you. On that Stewart Road, has there been any buildup of snow over 3.5 inches at any one given time?
Yeah, a few times.
Yeah, this last storm it was.
Yeah. I mean, I'm out there plowing before he is. And, if I'm out there plowing, there's enough snow that I don't want to get stuck with the truck, so I just start getting out there and there. So that's all around at night, I love plowing.
All right, thanks. Rick?
Well, yeah, just going on that, down at the end of the Stewart Road on the North Guild Road, where
The island is.
the island is there. The island is pushed way out, so now you can only get one vehicle through there. Where just, so if you meet somebody that's turning in, and saying that it needs to be cleaned up, but I was wondering about the resolution that, what is the resolution on the road work?
He's going to fix the culvert work that was done unsatisfactorily. Rocket and stuff like that, that wasn't done last time. And there was there was a miscalculation on the footage for the ditching. So that is going to also be made up somewhere else in the summer, because I guess the 1,400 feet wasn't actually needed on Pleasant Street. So, there'll be other ditching that needs to be done in the spring. So he's going to make up that footage somewhere else, wherever we determine it needs to be done.
Well, how's that gonna be made up when it's not a contract?
It'll be made up. All right, anything else, Rick?
I don't understand that. Just on.
Yeah, it will be addressed.
Maybe that's not an example for the people.
The issues will be rectified. That's the important message for
You just
tonight.
gotta figure out who you work for, the people or
Yeah.
Chad Davis.
Thank you, Mr. Allard.
Yeah.
All right, public comment is closed. Select board reports. Eric?
Yeah, just in reference to the plowing contract there, I copied one for each one of us to take a look at. And specifically, what I've heard is that now, whether it's been that they've been able to, the plowing contractor has been able to get around once and not have it build up the initial amount of snow, or whether or not they're able to come again the second time, but have a pretty significant buildup greater than 3.5 inches, as it states in the contract. That seems to be something that I've heard over and over again. And so what I've got is for us to basically, as well as you, Sue, there, I'll have a copy here with Marty, if you can come up and pick that up sometime. Just to review this contract as far as it pertains to the buildup of snow. And also to make sure that the 2 plow trucks that are down there are both in use during the snowstorm. I don't check. I go by, what's said to me. I would assume that 2 plow trucks would cover that 27 miles in amount of time that maybe not in this last storm, because I couldn't keep up with it. Even in my small driveway, it took me an hour to scoop it out, and then by the time I started again, it was 3.5 inches there again. So but I mean, I did it by hand. But I was thinking that if we look this over, this contract would kind of probably tell us what the issues are, you know? Because it gives pretty clear direction on when the plowing commences. It commences at 1.5 inches. And there should never be any more buildup than 3.5. So. And then also if there is something that needs to be done with the roads during the plowing season, where there's ruts and stuff that are left in the road from not really getting close to the surface of the road, then it's up to the contractor to alleviate that, and that's in the price of the contract.
I did talk to Chad today about the 2 trucks, and he said that he did have during the, the bigger storms, he does have 2 trucks out. So I don't know if it's, coming down faster than that or what, but he did tell me that he did.
But I don't know if it's the bigger storms or the lesser storms, if he's only got 1 truck and he's making an assumption, but
Yeah.
it doesn't clearly define that the 2 trucks should be out there all the time,
Right.
but it does say that their job requires
Mhm.
2 trucks plowing and
Mhm.
sanding.
Yeah.
So I'd like to get their own impression. Consider what feedback you've gotten, if you've gotten any, like yourself, Tyler, about the road plowing and stuff like that. And let's see what the contract says, or are we missing something in the contract that would establish, better identification of what needs to be done the next time we do a contract?
Yeah.
Or are we just not enforcing this? That's all.
Eric?
Yeah,
Hi, so I do have a copy of the contract and I reviewed it as well. I had a concerned citizen call during that last storm, very, very helpful. Kind of noted what was going on, at least on our road, but also up in town. And I shared that with Marty. So I'm not sure what got relayed to Chad after that.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that? I was trying to let somebody in.
Oh,
What-
sure.
what-
So I had relayed to you feedback from a resident from the last storm.
Oh, on the Elliotsville Road?
Yeah, that was asking if the shoes were still on the plow because there were some ruts and
I know they're not. I actually had Steve check on that and they're not still on there.
okay, all right.
Is it in the contract that his trucks have to be DOT compliant, because he has no strobe lights on them, none of them trucks?
yeah, I think there's some wording in there.
Well, somebody need to talk to him. Have to look out for the citizens.
Well, that's mainly what I'm more concerned with, not anything else other than safety and not having somebody get killed,
Right. You can come up behind them trucks, in the morning or at night or something, you just can't see them. You just can't see them.
Yeah, it doesn't reference DOT specifically, but it says about equipped with features and ratings and getting that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so we'll pick this up at the next meeting.
Yeah, that's all I wanted to do was just in reference to what's been going on, I looked at it and I said, there's some areas that really probably just need to tighten down on or get some
Oh, okay.
understanding, that's all.
Okay. Sue, did you have anything you want to share?
Let's see. We mentioned a couple of meetings ago about a possibility of looking at year-to-date expenditures and revenue summary. Do we know where we are on that process?
We will next week. We have printed it out and looked at it. I know that I can see that some of them have been taken out of like wrong accounts. So some of the items have negative numbers next to them, which they shouldn't. And then there's other lines that have, the full amount. And I know we've paid things out of them. So there's some kind of a mix up with which accounts the accounts payable are coming out of. So we just need to take a closer look at that and determine what's wrong with it and fix it. Which that's the plan for next week,
Okay, all right,
to
And-
start doing that.
yeah. My second question was, so the CEO job that got advertised.
We didn't, Eric wanted to look a little further into compensation in other towns. So we're just waiting to hear back on that. So it hasn't been posted yet, but I hope to get that done before, you start building stuff.
Okay, all right. Two more questions. And this is probably for Eric and Tyler more so. Well, actually you, Marty, as well. We talked about the town manager interviews and setting up some questions. Are we looking at some dates, like a deadline to interview?
I had sent an email out to you all last week. I don't know, no one responded, so I maybe you didn't see it. But just looking for some dates and times that you guys were all available. And that way there I could, reach out to some of these people and just let them know what's available and see if we could get some interviews scheduled.
Okay, all right. I didn't see any responses to that email either. I was kind of waiting as well.
Oh, okay.
All right, my last question, and Sandra's kind of involved in this as well as Tyler. We talked about the gym acoustics, and Sandra can probably update us, you all, on her meeting with a gentleman who came and looked at the gym and made some suggestions. My question is, what we do to resolve that and improve the acoustics. It's going to cost some money. We're not sure how much, but this initially was a bicentennial committee kind of idea, but it's really more than that because it's the gym, which is the town events and meeting place. So I'm just kind of curious, budget-wise, where we might be looking at that budget line to come out of.
The, did you end up with like a firm idea for what we wanted to do?
There's a sketchy idea, it's more in Wayne's head than in mine, but essentially build wooden frames and put some kind of sound absorbing material on them, and then cover that with fabric. And these would be 8 by 10, fold in the middle so they can be gotten to the doorway and downstairs. We need at least 4, as many as 8 for optimum sound absorption. So it's a pretty low-tech solution, relatively affordable. I did look at last year's budget binder, which is still on my desk, and it looks like there's money budgeted for things in the gym and things in the town that perhaps hasn't been spent. So there may very well be money in the budget.
Yeah, I don't think we fixed those doors, did we?
No.
For things there that aren't done.
Yeah.
Plus there's the wiggle room money, contingency, but I'm guessing this is gonna be under $2,000 total. Maybe we can get some of the materials donated. We need to talk about it.
Yeah, no, let's do that. I was originally planning to be gone tomorrow and for next week, but I canceled the trip, so I'm around. We can discuss that further.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah, a couple more
Yeah.
things I gotta just let you know that I'll be on vacation from April 7th to April 22nd. And there's one meeting in between there. It's at it's the first meeting of the month that I'll miss. And if there's budgeting meetings there, good luck.
Would you say April 7th
Yeah,
to 21st?
22nd.
22nd, okay.
And also, I've made up my mind that I will not finish my full term as selectman. I'm going to send a letter of resignation to you here and to Sue there, and you'll have to vote and agree as to whether or not you accept it or not. I think what I read. But I'll finish my term through to the annual meeting. But just enough notice so they can put out that there's another selectman's position
We'll be sad to see you go.
somewhere.
Maybe the chairs are more comfortable over there.
Yeah, I think I can cause just as much interest on the other side of the lawn.
You're gonna start a super PAC instead, I think. Yeah, well, we've got plenty of work to do in the meantime. Alrighty, committee reports, bicentennial committee.
There's nothing new to report.
The train has left the station.
Stuff is happening.
Yeah. Next weekend, right?
Next weekend is gonna roll.
Fully loaded schedule.
With any luck, the weather will hold and
Right on. Beautification committee.
nothing new there either, except that, Sue, do you want to talk about our meeting with? Her name escapes me.
Lori Bowen, she's from
Yes.
the County Extension Service, and she's going to be our speaker on Saturday, March 19th at the Tenny Hill House. She's going to speak about invasive plants, native species, and kind of tie that into pollinator-friendly gardening, getting us ready for spring.
Very good. Next up, old business remote participation policy. So we just had the public hearing. So I'll move that we adopt the remote participation policy as written.
Second.
All right, that's passed. And next up is generator update.
Okay, so as I said last meeting, we were in competition with some other counties for these generators. And I am of the understanding that it has been approved and we have been approved to get the generator. It may take some time just because this particular grant is coming from FEMA. And they said it could take, up to a couple months. So we've been notified that it's been approved, but not to do anything yet. So the grant that was, and I guess a while back, Daniel had gotten a quote from Hutchganya for the generator, and that was submitted. So that's what it's based on. It only covers the cost of the actual generator itself. So we have to pay for the propane work to be done and also a pad for it to sit on, which I imagine we could probably do that ourselves. I have spoken to McCusick and they are coming on Tuesday at 9 to take a look and give us a quote as far as how much we'd be talking about to get the propane work done. So that's where that stands right
Good.
now.
It lines up pretty well with the start of our budget season here.
Yep.
So we can talk about that.
Yep.
Very good. New business, office help.
So as you know, Elena Woodard has been coming in once a week for a few hours on Mondays, just to kind of help out with some of the behind the scenes stuff that I don't always have time to keep up with. And she has been able to rearrange her schedule so that she can actually come in a couple of days a week. And I'm hoping that that will get us going on the audit again, hopefully, help out with printing off some of these reports and being able to, look through all the line items and see where things have possibly come out of incorrect accounts, or there's some kind of mix up in there. So that was that. I did reach out to the select board and let them know. I don't think anybody has a problem with that. So we were gonna start that next week. She's planning on coming in on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and she'll be here about 9 till around 3 or 4. And at least until either we get someone else in here permanently, or we get some of this stuff wrapped up, whichever comes first.
Yeah, you had another thought too. Around the lady down in Bassboro.
Oh, right, so Vernice Boyce, I don't know, she used to be our auditor, she used to work for R.H.R. Smith. And she now is she's worked for municipalities a lot, and she's now the treasurer in Vassalboro, and she also does consulting. And it occurred to me today that possibly it might be a less expensive option to reach out to her and have her help out with some of this stuff rather than take up the training that the auditors were offering. So I was gonna maybe give her a call and talk to her about that and see what maybe, because it may, I know she charges $100 an hour, but you know, it's gonna be thousands to have the auditors themselves do it too.
Right.
You know, they had spoken something to the tune of $5,000 for this training, but I would much rather spend money if we're going to on something that's specific to our needs right now. You know, I think that 40 hours of trio training sounds good, I guess, but you know, I just don't know if that's really what we need right now and how much of that would be stuff that we'll never use again. You know, so if someone could come in here and just really just target what we're needing to get done right now and do it, or, you know, and we could observe and learn ourselves. And I think it would get done in a much more timely manner and would just be a lot more cost effective, I'm thinking. So I was thinking I would call her and just talk with her about what it is that we need, and maybe she could give me some kind of a ballpark figure. Because she's been here before, I mean, she's been our auditor for at least 2 audits, you know, so
Okay,
she's
she knows
familiar
as well, yeah.
with the town and she's just familiar with the whole procedure anyway.
Yeah, see
So
what
that
she
was
says.
just another thought that I had as far as trying to get that all figured out. And so nobody's opposed, I'll give her a call and just see.
And you pronounce her name Vernice.
Vernice with a V. Yep,
Yeah, sounds good.
okay.
All right. I'll move to adjourn. Thanks, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
All right. I think it's public record.